Yes, my heart is wide open. Yes, I'm only for God. I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. Yes, my heart is wide open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, sing it with me. Hey! I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. Yes, my heart is wide open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go, I let spirit run my life. Yes, my heart is wide open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am one with the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here. I'm only here. I said I'm only here. I'm only here. A little deeper than that. I'm only here. I'm only here for God. Hey!
Cat Williams and our Unity Band. I told him this morning somebody had their Wheaties. Would you give them a hand this morning? Welcome this beautiful day. Wasn't yesterday an amazingly beautiful spring day? Spring is truly in the air. Well, we want to thank you for being here this morning. You are in for a treat, so just relax and allow that to be so. I invite you to join us as we open, as we set our intention together. We are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and socially responsive. And with that, we turn within and we open our service together. We greet this day in that spirit that says yes. That part within us that says yes, that is life affirming, always affirming the presence of all that is. And we recognize all that we are is an expression of all that is. And today we open to this in new ways. Perhaps we hear something in a new way. We allow ourselves to believe, to trust, to be that flow, to be the way that God shows up. We give thanks for this opportunity to be here together in spirit and in truth, to be blessed that we may be a blessing. For this sacred time together, we are most grateful. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. We invite you to stand this morning as you're able and join in our opening song that says, "We come together in the name of love." Greet the neighbor next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Look around in the sanctuary and feel the love that's shining through. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together. Sanctuary and let the love come flowing through. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love, and greet the neighbor next to you. Say God is love and so are you. You're at home in the sanctuary. Receive the love that's here for you. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. We come together, we come together, we come together in the name of love. Yeah, we come together in the name of love. Take this opportunity to turn around and to welcome those around you with that holy handshake or a holy hug. Welcome. Richard Schulman. Play it, Dave De La Rosa.
Cause I know I can be strong for love. Put your hand on your heart. Yes, I know I can be strong for love. I will stand for love. I will stand for love. To love, stand for love. Yes, I will stand for love.
Aren't we blessed every Sunday to have this amazing, beautiful music with our music director, Richard Schulman, Dave, Joel, Pete, and Kat Williams. Would you give them our love and appreciation? Yes, thank you. And thank you for being here. You know, it wouldn't be the same without you here. We don't do this often enough. Give yourself a hand. Thank you for being here. Yes. And for the stand you are for love. We want to take this opportunity to extend a special welcome to anyone that may be here for the first time or the first time in a long time. If you'd simply raise your hand and hold it up just a moment so we can acknowledge your presence. We have a welcoming team, several folks. Unity people lovingly point where you saw a hand went up, and we'll find them. They're bringing a connections card to you. This card has a red heart attached. If you'd like to attach that red heart to you where we can see it, then we will extend a special warm welcome and make ourselves available if you have any questions. We have packets of information outside of our bookstore for any that may want to pick up a little more information. But for those of you that are newcomers in particular, and would you pause and take a moment and wave to our live streamers, those that are streaming with us now. We have folks from, I think we're 12, 13 countries now that are joining us online that either watch live or after the fact. So to each and every one of these, let us extend this warm unity blessing that says, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. We're blessed by you today, and we hope that you know that. We are so excited to have Tama Kieves with us today, and I'll be telling you just a little bit more about her in a few minutes. And so as we prepare to do that, let me share a few announcements with you. If you've not already done so, if you would lovingly send your cell phone into the silence. Isn't it great? Does anybody ever take a cell phone sabbatical? To just turn it off and come apart for a little while without having a mini come apart meltdown. Just to turn it off for a while. So we send those into the silence. We'll tell you a little bit more about it later in our service, but Tama is going to be offering a workshop afterward, and if I happen to forget it then, we have someone generously donated 5 scholarships. So when you wind up hearing this workshop and you thought you had other plans, but Spirit says, oh, no, you're supposed to be in this workshop, we don't want that to hold anybody back, so just remember that. Easter is just 2 weeks away. We're going to be having an early sunrise service, 6:45 a.m. for all you early birds. It'll be out at our labyrinth, weather permitting, with Reverend Laura Collins. If for some reason the weather is not cooperating, it will be inside. There's some work going on around our labyrinth in preparation of Easter. If you'd like to help with that, would you stand up? You can see Reverend Laura, and she will direct you as to some things you may be able to do to help get our labyrinth ready. So there's the early service, outdoor sunrise service. It's a shorter service, and afterward I think they're going to go to breakfast, anyone that wants to. And then if you'd like to double dip, you can come on back, and then I'll be leading the next 2 services at 9:45 and 11:30. And we're rebolting the roof because we're going to have both Cat Williams and Rhoda Weaver in the house, and some more percussion and saxophone, so it's going to get really spicy and dicey and lovely around here. So make your plans to be here on Easter, and you may want to bring your yoga mat. It gets pretty packed in here. All the creasters come out. You know, Christmas and Easter, it's a great time to meet your creaster friends that like to come twice a year. In honor of that special holiday, we love to have flowers that we can enjoy on Easter. So we have some of these forms in the bookstore. If you would like, they're $10. If you'd like to order a spring flower, it'll be in honor and celebration and memory of whomever you choose. That'll be presented in our bulletin on Easter, and those flowers will be all around here Easter. And then after the service, you can take your flower with you. So again, you just stop by the bookstore if you'd like to be a part of that. I want to give a shout out to Jerry Conley, who helps with that, and so many other flowers. Yay, Jerry, thank you so much for the work you do there. Most of you know that every month, every 4 to 6 weeks, we partner with an outside agency. Because, you know, in Unity, we really believe in practical spirituality, and that means to be able to get out and demonstrate what it means to be love in action. This month, I'm excited to introduce Israel, and also Pam Rogers. Pam and Charlie, would you raise your hand? There are a couple in our church who are our liaisons to, with Karen Armstrong's Charter for Compassion. We are a compassionate community, and everything we do is grounded in that golden rule. I have Israel with us today because our partner for this month of April is the Migrant Education Program. And what Israel does, he is an outreach. He's employed by Henderson County, the schools, and his job is to try to find the migrant families that come in quite often under the radar, wanting to or needing to. But we're finding these individuals and making sure that their children have access to education. And so we're making sure that they have that access to education. He's there to be with them, to support them. And it also means that the families that are coming in are the ones that are working in the fields so that we can enjoy what we enjoy. And so those who are working in the fields, both men and women, can use some things. In particular, broad-rimmed hats, long-sleeve shirts, and bandanas. Now, some people have asked, why don't we get sunscreen as well? Well, because they are much wiser sometimes than we are. When you work in the sun a long time, if you have sunscreen on all day, you really can't sweat. You need to be able to sweat. And so having the big hats and the long sleeve shirts and the bandanas. But Israel, I want to thank you for being here today as a representative and for what you do. Would you tell us just anything else we may need to know about this project?
Thank you, Darlene. Hey, my name is Israel Olivares, and thank you for having me here today. And as Darlene was saying, what I do with the Migrant Education Program It's that I go out there and try to find families that work on the fields, and we try to find the out-of-school youths and just provide them with an education, because I mean we believe it's important for them to have an education as well. And as every day as I go out and work with these families, I just see the struggles that they go through as they work in the fields, you know, in the sun, from sunrise to sunset. And a lot of these workers, they're out on the sun, and they can't even afford like the basic needs. It's like she was telling us, well, the long-sleeve shirts or the hats, because they don't get paid well either. So one way this congregation could help was if to donate some long-sleeve shirts or the hats or the bandanas. It would be really appreciated. So thank you very much.
Israel said, "Can I come back next Sunday? I like it here." We said, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. You are welcome anytime. One of the things he also shared with me is that a lot of the migrant families that come in feel a sense of isolation. And so I want us to open our heart and send that love, and we are extending an invitation that this is a home and a safe place for anyone that wants to come and to be here with us. So we want you to know that. So would you rub your hands together to every child, to every person that comes into this community? We want them to feel the love and to know that we are holding them in our heart, and to you as well. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Thank you so much for being here. Tell me your daughter's name again. Sitalali. His daughter, beautiful daughter, named herself Butterfly. Isn't that? All right, so now that I have a large lump in my throat, I will attempt to share today's reading. Just feel the love that is in this room. Just pause for a moment and to realize that today I choose to move through my day in a spiritually centered way. If I'm challenged by anything that I feel that I must accomplish, if I'm focused on that to-do list, I can remember that it's a get-to-do list. As I remember the blessings in my life, as I remember my life, this one life presence that flows through all creation, that I am never disconnected from this life, from this energy, from this guidance, from this peace, from whatever it is I need. And as I open my heart, I become this conscious, clear channel of divine light, divine love. And that whatever is before me is called forth through me. That whatever is to be will happen through me. But not through the limited self that I may know myself to be at times, but through the greater I am that I am. That I am an expression of all that is. And as I open to this truth of my being, there is a presence that flows through, that shows up and allows me to show up in ways that I may never have known were possible. And so this day and every day I say yes, and I say thank you. Thank you. I invite you to say thank you and to smile. And now to look and just to broadcast that smile to somebody. And now smile so deep you feel your liver smile. That's what our Buddhist friends teach us to smile deeply. So now that we're smiling just deep enough, Kat, bring us home.
These hands can build a mountain, heal a heart, and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands can shape the future, for these are the hands of God. So let me reach out when love is in need. I know I can be a blessing, a blessing. Oh, these hands can build a road, heal a heart, and move mountains. Oh, these hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. So let me reach out when love is in need. I know I can be a blessing, a blessing. Oh, these hands can build the road, heal a heart, and move mountains. Oh, these hands can change the world, for these are the hands for God. Oh, these hands can build a road, heal a heart, and move mountains. Oh, these hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. For these are the hands of God.
Cat Williams, those are the hands of God, but I also know that's the voice of God. Amen? Would you give our band and Cat a hand again? Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I said earlier, you are truly in for a treat today, and you really are. I want to tell you just a little bit about our guest today, Tama Kieves. She was an honor graduate of Harvard Law School, but she left her law practice because something was calling. She was working with a corporate law firm and was having this calling and guidance to do something else, and she'll tell you about that. But today she is a best-selling author. I remember when her first book came out, This Time I Dance, and it made me dance when I met it, when I met it and read it. But Inspired and Unstoppable, she has several books. Her most recent book, Thriving Through Uncertainty. She has been featured in USA Today, Success Magazine. She's been ABC News. She's one of, I like to say, Oprah's people. She's been on Oprah. I asked her this morning, I said, hey, put in a good word for us. We'd like to get Oprah here. Amen? We aim high. Oprah and Jesus, right up there. She's been featured in a TEDx talk. She is regularly traveling, presenting, coaching people from Esalen, Omega, Canyon Ranch. You may be familiar with some of those folks. But she's really known for her electrifying presence, her authentic humor. Someone told me this morning, they said if she ever changes careers, she could be a stand-up comedian, and I agree. But she's really grounded in compassion and just this dynamic force. I thought when she was speaking this morning, you could tell she is a lawyer. Man, she can make a good case. And today, she makes a good case for us, each and every one, owning who we are, the truth of our being. I asked her, how did you find your way to Unity and New Thought churches? And she said, really, they found me through my books. And she started being asked, and what I appreciate about her is she said, yes, we'll find a way, we'll make it work. And she and her partner Paul traveled yesterday to get here today to be with us. But what she said that really moved me, she said, Unity and New Thought found me through my books, but when I walked through those doors, I found my home. Well, we'd like to welcome you home again. Would you please join me in welcoming the one, the only, Tama Kieves.
And as I said in the first service, I didn't know you had to sing in this church. Like, wow, my God. Oh, you look beautiful today. Woo! So I guess I wanted to start by just asking a question. Is it me, or has life ratcheted up a notch? Right? Like everyone you know is going through some kind of uncertainty. You're going through uncertainty. There's uncertainty in the world. I think it's as though the universe has said, the grace period is now over. We have these gifts. We have this love. We have this God that can do anything. We are living in wild, inspired times. But we are wild, inspired answers. We have this power inside us. You have a mission. You have love to give. And this is the time the world needs us. So I want to ask, what stops us from listening to that? Because one thing I do know is that, for me anyways, I always have to remind myself that when I'm scared and that when I'm uncertain, there really is a path already there. There is already a path. There is already a genius there. It's about receiving it or listening to it moment by moment. But for me, what that means is getting out of my head and being led. Right? So what stops you from listening to your inner voice? What stops you from following what's in your heart? Because if you are not following in your heart, you're not following your strength, you're not following your love, then you are listening to somebody else. Who are you listening to? Is it the voice of the media? Is it the voice of a parent? Is it the voice of education? For me, it was my mother, right? So I knew early on that I wanted to write. That was my dream. I knew I liked writing, and the creative writing teacher in high school was gorgeous. So this was a sign. This looked good. Like, oh, I could do this. So I went home and I shared with my family my fabulous news that I wanted to be a writer. But as I said, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, to an Orthodox Jewish family. So if you said that you wanted to be a writer, nobody said Mazel Tov. It was more like, oi. So my mother, because basically I could have said, I found my calling, I found my dream. I want to start a meth lab. It would have been the same thing. It would have been the same thing. Selling drugs, sell your body to the night, be creative. They're all the same people. They're all going to be under the same bridge, let's face it. So my mother said something like, what? You're going to write? You're going to write? You're going to starve. You're going to write. And that was the Go for Your Dreams talk that I got. That was basically the extent of it. And then she said something like, what? You can't get a job. You'll write on the Sundays, right? The reasonable plan. And most of us got this same advice, didn't we? Be reasonable. Stay reasonable. Stay practical. Don't do what's in your heart. Don't do what's following you. Don't do something frivolous like something that you love. Don't do something that your spirit might be asking. Stay safe. Be practical, right? We got that same message, maybe different accent, but same message. And I don't think it's ever safe to deny what's in your heart. I don't think it's ever safe to deny what Spirit might be asking you to do at this point in your life, in any area of your life. That's not what's safe. But I didn't know that, and I went off to law school, and I got accepted to Harvard Law School. And I graduated with honors from Harvard Law School, and as you might imagine, my mother was very proud. She was bragging in every synagogue for all she was worth. I don't want to tell you. Let me tell you. Right? And so I got a job on partnership track of a major law firm, and you may have had this situation in your life where you're doing what others say you should do, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're doing what maybe even looks right, looks good, but it doesn't feel right. Something feels off, something feels empty. If we're not listening to Spirit, it feels empty, right? It feels empty. And so I was struggling with it, and I was really getting depressed. And thank God a friend of mine said something amazing. He said, think about it. If you've been this successful doing something you don't love, what could you do with what you love? And that really opened my mind up to what could we do if we weren't fighting ourselves and we were just following what was loving and we just followed what we loved. So I decided I was you get one life. I decided I want to know where this is going to go. And I decided I walked out of my career without a plan, and I decided I was going to follow this, and which, by the way, now makes me an expert in thriving through uncertainty. Because I know a lot of times people always think, well, she must have had money, you know, she's practicing law, right? A lot of people think that. But by the way, it takes so much money to be unhappy. It just does. You know, there's a lot of bottles of wine to buy. You know, there's therapists to see. There's Ayurvedic healing. It takes a lot of money to be unhappy, let's just say, right? So I often get asked the question, I'm a coach for a living. I do success coaching and career coaching and all kinds of, I work with artists and entrepreneurs and leaders and business people and anybody who pays me. Basically the question I often get is, but Tama, I don't know how. I don't know how to hear that inner voice. I don't know how to follow it. I don't know how to get from A to B to C to D. I don't know how. I don't know how to figure this out. And what I want you to know is that what we're talking about is an inspired life. We're not talking about a linear plan. This is not going to be A to B to C to D. I always tell my clients, you can't plan an inspired life. You can't plan an inspired life. What you can do is you can listen to something in this moment that might be speaking to you. There might be something in this one moment that's calling to you, speaking to you, an instinct, and that's what we can do. Right? So how this worked for me was I wrote my first book. I was writing my first book. It was what my dream to do, and I was following that inner voice. It took me 12 years to write my first book. Sometimes people feel excited hearing that, like thinking, oh, I still have a shot. Other people are depressed. Other people are doing the math in their head going, you know, I wish she had the 3 easy steps. I'm not going to her workshop. 12 years. I don't got that kind of time, you know. But I always tell people, I think it took me 11 years to heal, 11 years to believe in myself, 11 years to love myself, 11 years to believe that there was a loving God and a loving Spirit that could help me do anything at any time, and 1 year to write a book, right? So if your life feels like it's going slow or it's not happening right away or things you want are taking time, please keep in mind in this community, we're doing a lot of work. Right? We're undoing beliefs. We're undoing conditioning. We're undoing all kinds of things. It's not a linear path. There's so much going on at once, right? So anyways, when I finally finished writing the book, I thought, how do you get it published? I don't know, right? You know, so I was reading about commercial publishing and about self-publishing, and I asked my inner voice, and it just said, just put it in the river. Just put it in the river. Isn't that beautiful? What the heck does that mean? Like, come on, really? Really, this is the plan I'm gonna get now? You know, I live in Denver. There are no rivers, first of all, you know, and I've told the story at readings, and I've had readers suggest to me that maybe the voice meant put it on Amazon, you know, so I don't know. But, you know, I knew intuitively it meant just self-publish the book, get it out there, put it in the stream of life. If it's supposed to go somewhere, it will. Just get it out there some way, somehow. If it's supposed to go somewhere, it will. But it meant putting my own money into it, and I didn't know anything about marketing or distribution or anything, and it just felt scary. You know how you get those answers, and it's like, I want a second opinion, you know? But I decided I was going to follow it, and I decided I was going to listen. And the second that you decide that you will follow your inner voice, the second that you decide that you will follow this calling all the way, any which way, The moment you decide you'll follow that love, you will meet the most judgmental person 3 seconds later. They are waiting for you to question you. So I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I went to an ex-boyfriend's house for a Passover dinner. And I sat down next to this woman, and she was my mother on steroids. And all night she's drinking bad wine, and she starts grilling me all night. She's like, so you're gonna publish a book, and you know nothing about marketing, and you know nothing about distribution, and you're putting your own money into this. You're very ambitious, right? Which is code for you're a nut. You know, step away from my kids now. And you know, I sat there, and you know, every Passover before, I've never understood what that tradition was about. If you're not familiar with it, it's all about the exodus of the Jews, right? I've never gotten that ceremony. I got it that night. For the first time in my life, I got it. It was like, let my people go. I got it. It made sense. It was like, let my people go. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I tell this woman? Do I tell her, oh, don't worry, I have a plan. I'm gonna put it in a river. That's my plan, you know? Or don't worry, I've been listening to an inner voice for 12 years. It's very nice. Because you know how like we say this here, we teach ourselves this here, we train ourselves to learn these things here. You talk to somebody normal and say that, right? Not so much, right? So anyways, I finally got the guts, and I finally self-published my first book, This Time I Dance. And it started moving through word of mouth. It hit the bestseller list, a Denver Post bestseller list, and then a business bestseller. It just started moving through word of mouth. And then 4 months after I self-published it, I got an email that said, your fairy godmother has arrived. Your fairy godmother has arrived. Now, if you got an email like that, right, you know, come on, you would think it's spam. You would think it's Russian girls are waiting for you. You know, there's money for you in Nairobi. Give us your credit card number. You know, you're gonna think it's that, but it was actually an email from a vice president of marketing and publicity for Random House. And she was in her own career transition and having a meltdown and searching her books, and she somehow found my self-published book. And she wrote to me and said, this is the best book I have ever read on finding your calling and doing your dreams. I love this book. I want to get it to a major New York publisher, which to me was like saying, I want to help you meet God. Really, that was, you know, so she did. She got it to the publisher I'd always dreamed of. It was Torture, Penguin, Random House, the big guys, and they bought the book. And they bought the book exactly the way that it was. They kept the exact writing, which was unbelievable. As an unknown writer, they made me change like 10 sentences out of the entire book. They kept the exact title. I had self-published it, and I'd done it in purple ink because I like purple, you know, and they kept the purple ink, you know. As an unknown writer, had I gone a conventional route, I would never have ended up where I ended up, right? I would never. But because I followed that inspired path, that you can't plan an inspired life, you have no idea where things go. And each of us has this plan. Each of us has this way if we listen moment by moment, right? But again, how could I have figured out, I'm gonna have a meltdown for 12 years. Some other woman's gonna have a meltdown at the end of 12 years. We're gonna hook up. And that's my business plan, right? What bank is going to go, oh, that sounds excellent, Miss Kieves. Yes, we'll sign off on that. So I always used to end with that story because it's such a great example. But I want to talk a little bit more about thriving through uncertainty, right? Because many of us are in uncertainties. And we think that once I get over there, it'll all be okay. Once I get over there, it'll be okay. Once I get the book deal, it'll be okay. Once I get more money, it'll be okay. Once this diagnosis gets resolved, then it'll be okay. Once I meet the love of my life, then it'll be okay. Once I can get this love of my life out of my house, then it'll be okay. And on his own, it'll be okay, right? And we always think that our future is always in the, you know, it's always in the future. The thriving is always someday. The thriving is always later. For me, a spiritual life is about thriving here and now. It's about thriving here and now, because in this moment, there is something speaking to you, and it's really about listening to love instead of fear in every situation, and that's what we're learning together, right? And so I have a concept in my new book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, about the video game. And what it is sometimes you feel that, I don't know about you, but I feel like sometimes I hit this bump where I'm dealing with the same fear again, or I'm dealing with the same issue again, or the same thing in my life, and I think, oh my God, have I not prayed enough about this one thing? Have I not seen enough therapists about this one thing? Like, are you kidding me? Have I not drunk enough wine about this one thing? You know? And it's still here, right? And what I want you to know is that in the video game, it's like you win at a certain level, and then you go to the next level. And at the next level, the enemies are harder, and the rules have changed. And it's uncertain again because it's a new terrain. You've expanded, right? So if you're going through something right now where it feels like you're falling behind, I often think we're expanding. It's almost like we're going to that next level, and it's like, can you use your spiritual principles here? Can you use what you know here? Can you choose love here, right? So I'll give you an example of that. When my second book, Inspired and Unstoppable, came out, it was about to come out, behind the scenes, I had made the decision that this time I'm going to get everything right. You ever do that where you think, like, this time I'm going to get my stuff together. I'm going to make up for everything I've ever done wrong in my whole life, and I'm going to get it right this one time, right? Never goes so well, by the way. So basically, behind the scenes, right before the book came out, like there's all these things you have to do to get a book out and launch, and things to set up, and speaking engagements, and things you're supposed to do. Everything started going to haywire. It was just falling apart because the assistant I had all of a sudden quit, and that wasn't working out. And then my partner got ill, and so we were dealing with that. So we were just missing deadlines, and we were missing things. And I just started getting more and more scared because now I'm supposed to be doing stuff, and I'm so behind in everything, and everything's falling through, and I'm getting more and more panicked, and I'm like, you know, which is very, very attractive. Very, very attractive. Especially in a self-help author. Especially a self-help author who's just written a book called Inspired and Unstoppable, right? So one of my friends was like saying, okay, you're a nut right now. I'm like, why? You know, why do you say that? You know, but anyway, she's like, you're a nut right now. You know, you need to go see this healer. You need to go see this healer. So I didn't know anything about this healer or whatever, but you'll do anything when you're scared, right? So I'm driving up to the mountains to go see this healer that I don't know, right? So I'm driving up to the mountains, and I arrive, and she is in a yurt, okay? A yurt. Okay, I'm from New York City. I don't know from yurts, okay? All right? A yurt, in case you don't know, is a circular tent, right? So she's sitting in this thing, and I'm supposed to sit there with her, right? So I sit there with her, and she starts asking me in a very nice healer's voice, you know, like, what would you like to heal? Would you like to shift? Right? You know, I'm crazy, so I'm in my New York City mind. I'm like, and this, and this, and this, and this, and make this go away, and make that happen. And she looks at me, and I'm sure this poor woman thought, oh my God, there is not enough sage on the planet. I am never going to be able to cleanse this space. I'm going to have to move. But she took me to do this ritual, and she takes me on her property. There's this stream on her property, and she has me stand in the center of the stream. And she has me look downstream, and all the water's rushing and rushing and rushing. And she says, those are the opportunities you missed. Oh, those are the deadlines you missed. That's the thing you were supposed to get done. That's the people you were going to meet, but oh, well, not now. Oh, look, you had that creative idea you believed in. You know, oh, my God. Oh, someone else is making $1 million on it. Too bad. I'm like, no. You know? Oh, look, they're becoming a New York Times bestseller, but you're not. Oh, you know. And I'm thinking, and this is helping me? You know, but anyway, so she asks me, how are you feeling right now? And it's like going crazy. The water's rushing and all those opportunities and what I should have done and could have done, and I just screamed, I'm feeling out of control. I'm so out of control. And then I finally realized I was out of control. Life was happening, and it was out of my control. There were things that were going on, and it was out of my control. And I finally just had this moment of self-forgiveness, where I realized, you know what? I'm doing what I can do. You know, life is happening, but I am doing what I can do, and that is all I can do in any given moment. And I just had that moment of forgiveness, and then she had me turn, and she had me face the other side of the stream, and all the water's rushing at me and rushing at me and rushing at me, and she said, you know what? This is life. This is the universe. It's giving you another chance, more opportunities, more things coming, new people you're going to meet, new possibilities of money. Life is going to keep giving. Do you ever think life is going to stop giving? No, life's going to keep giving. But what it made me realize was that the past is not what creates the future. We all think the past is what creates the future, but that's a linear concept, right? In a spiritual life, it is the present moment that creates your future. It is the present moment, and many of us get disappointed at different times or challenged at different times, and it's like we close our hearts. We start thinking, this isn't working, it's not going anywhere, I'm not going to get anything, it's over, I'm too old, I'm too this, and we close down our hearts and we stop looking for the good, we stop being available to the good that's happening. Right? So I'm going to just ask us today as an amazing spiritual community of, can we as a community hold a thought for ourselves, for each other, of choosing again, of opening up in this moment to choose again, to be available to love, to choose love instead of fear again, and to believe that maybe good is coming still, and good is coming still, and it's still coming, it's still arriving. So I want to read you something, because I know for me, I was so busy looking at what I should have done and could have done and would have done that I wasn't even available to what was right here. And I see that so many times for all of us, right? So I'm going to read you something from my book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, and it's again about that video game, but it uses a concept from A Course in Miracles. And I've taught A Course in Miracles for like 25 years, and I just want to share this one concept with you. And it says, who you think you are is a belief to be undone. Who you think you are is a belief to be undone. So what that means is the part of you that feels small, the part of you that feels alone, the part of you that feels like you can't do it, you can't make it happen, the part of you that feels like I'm too old, I don't have an education, I got divorced 5 times, whatever it is, right? You know, again, the part of us, our stories about ourselves, right? Who you think you are is a belief to be undone. Because there is a power and a love and a magnificence in each of us that can do anything at any time when we open to it. So I'm just going to read you this passage. All right. And again, it's talking a little bit about that video game. A Course in Miracles teaches that who you think you are is a belief to be undone. You think you can be stopped. You think you can be diminished. You think you can fail. But that's the game. You can never lose. You already have everything you need. You have this crazy alchemical love within you, and it's yours to give in any situation, which changes every situation and even changes you as you give it. You do not walk alone. Will you choose to listen to the disconnected, smallest version of yourself or the highest allegiance of your spirit? You have a choice. Choose love. Choose again. Choose now. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. So I want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I want to end with one of my favorite quotes. It's attributed to Jesus from the Gnostics. And it says, if you bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth that which is within you, that which is within you will destroy you. It's a little gift of guilt from my people. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Isn't she awesome? Stay right here if you will. We want to bless you, but But before that, would you tell us, actually let us bless you first. Would you just rub your hands together? To Tama, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Thank you. Will you tell us a little bit about the workshop? And I want to say that someone was so excited that someone bought 5 tickets, and we have 5 scholarships if anyone needs that. So someone who couldn't go.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you. I would love, love, love to have you at the workshop, even if you need to come a little bit late or you need to leave a little bit early. I've been running around the country just so I could do the workshops. Because the workshops, we get intimate. It gets into your life, whether any transition you're in, any uncertainty you're in, if it's money, if it's health, if it's relationships, it's career. We're going to do some really interactive exercises and work with each other. Plus, the energy is just amazing. You know, when you get out of your own room and out of your own head and you're with amazing people and create that energy, you get answers you just couldn't get alone. You get clarity you couldn't get alone. So we're going to do some stuff to get out of fear. And I so hope you join me. You know, I said in the talk that you can't plan an inspired life. You know, so I know some of you are saying, "Oh, well, I have plans this afternoon." It's like, no, you don't, because you can't plan an inspired life. I'm gonna plan it for you, and you need to join us. Like I said, even if you come a little late, you leave a little early. I'd love to have you have some of that energy. Also, I just want to mention to you, stop by my table. We're having a sale on all the books, by the way, and also I have a mailing list, or for those of you live streaming, join me on the mailing list. Get my email newsletter, because we have articles that keep you inspired every single month and keep you ignited every single month, because this takes practice, right? It takes practice to stay inspired. And we're deeply involved in creating a world that lives from inspiration instead of fear. That's what we're about. And this Unity of Blue Ridge is part of that. Is amazing, because our world needs us to live from inspiration instead of fear. And I'm so grateful to be in this amazing community. So thank you, thank you, thank you for welcoming. And I will see you later and play. Thank you.
Tama, thank you for saying yes at so many levels and just for cheering from the heart. Wasn't she truly amazing? Thank you. This is the time where, as Kat and our band get ready for another amazing song, our ushers are coming forward, and we have the opportunity to inquire within, to acknowledge the blessings in our life and the blessing that flows through this community. Take this opportunity to look around and to express your gratitude to those who have created this experience together. And then we hold our gifts in our heart. We hold our gift of tithe or offering. And let us affirm together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I receive, and all that I am. I am now in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up. Don't give up. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot Leave it all. Leave it all. Bible, 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 Bible. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. And lead. Ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-doo, ba-ba-boo-boo, ba-da-boo-boo.
I think somebody has a kidney that is alive and well. Amen.
And as our ushers and our prayer chaplain Michelle and our sacred service volunteer director Madeline come forward, we're reminded that there's so many ways that we get to give, that we get to lead with love. We get to lead with love through our prayers for each other, and our prayer chaplains will be in the chapel to pray with you after the service if you wish, or you can leave prayer in the box, which is at the back of the room, and we'll pray with you this week. You can offer your service, you can offer your goods. And this week we're starting something new, and we're going to be sharing with each other the prayer for protection. And so I'd like to invite Reverend Michelle to lead us in that.
In gratitude, we bless the resources that flow through our lives and through our Unity Center. We bless the gift of prayer and our sacred connection and our capacity to serve and make a difference with our lives. And together we affirm, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God enables us, the presence of God abides in us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So it is.
And so now let's stand and let's join hands and let's become that peace that we're going to take out into the world. And the workshop's at 1:30. Let there